Doctor, thank you so much, as always, for being with us today. So we wanted to tackle the wide-ranging issues that have a potential of adverse as well as long-term psychological effects on children that have witnessed their peers dying or being ill due to the recent spate of whether suspected foodborne illnesses. And then what type of support do you think they actually need to deal with this type of trauma?
That learners so young are having to deal with their fellow learner or age mates passing away, and in such a horrible circumstances. We really have a crisis in our hands that obviously that can lead to a lot of anxiety, to a lot of trauma, a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder traits, in these children or these learners that are watching this happen to their fellow age mates. So it's going to need us to really intervene to ensure that it doesn't happen again, but also to ensure that psychologically they are supported, that there's a lot of debriefing, but also ongoing support, for them to overcome and to ensure that it doesn't now develop into severe pathology.
Dr. Bullying, cyberbullying in the new age of technology, racism, violence, as well as other safety-related issues at schools have now become so severe that the department has even embarked on some fact-finding mission at the various different schools in the province pertaining to exactly these challenges. But do you think schools in their current states have sufficient on-site psychosocial services, especially in rural as well as township schools?
Sadly, there is so much demand or need for, psychosocial support, but it's not there. And unfortunately, we are a wounded society, and what we're seeing play out in these young children's lives and these, the learners is exactly that they are coming now into the picture where they are being raised by wounded people or people who are going through their own things based on the past, but also a system that's failing them. So really the system is the education system, but also the health system as well, whereby there's just not enough to help support all the learners in all the schools. And these are basic rights, it's a basic need to ensure that psychologically you are safe in a school, that you really as a learner can function at the best optimal level in spite of what's happening in your life. So it's quite sad to see what's playing out. And especially those who are the most vulnerable, who need this, they don't have access to this, and it's very sad. And on top of it, there's still a lot of stigma around seeking psychological support, and it's not just in the learners, but it's in society, in the systems. So they don't prioritize mental health in the way it should be prioritized, which is quite a sad state for South Africa.
Doctor, just on your point there of being raised by wounded people, let's put aside what actually happens on school premises and deal with those kids who are exposed to these ills like GBV at home, gangsterism in their communities that then finds itself all the way to school premises. It really means these kids are having a very difficult time then dealing and finding coping mechanisms, leading them to engage in early alcohol abuse, engaging also in reckless sexual behavior.
Yes, it really shows that they don't have, who are they looking up to? I mean, they're looking up to the people who are wounded, who are not seeking their help. So meaning that that's all they know, it's the norm. And if I'm not okay and I have children, I pass this on to them, I teach them as the norm, my maladaptive coping strategies. And that's what we're seeing play out, that they see what's happening in their communities, in their societies, in their neighborhoods, even in their homes. Therefore, and no one is assisting them, no one is calling out the wrongs, no one is seeking help for those social ills. Therefore, this becomes the norm, and therefore this is what is eternalized as the norm. We're normalizing the abnormal, basically. And this is what they learn, the coping strategies, this is what they learn. And also when you talk about things like your education, there's so many challenges in the system, and not people, the unemployment rate is also so high. So when you talk about education, yet with the high unemployment rate, learners are becoming so demotivated to even study and do what it is that they can, because it just seems like a hopeless scenario. So we're really spiraling down, and the pendulum has swung to the extreme end, where we're seeing so much disruption in the societal being of South Africa, or of the communities, of the neighborhoods, which is quite sad.
Very sad indeed. Yes, Doctor.
As for social psychology, look at the psyche of the entire system in South Africa at the different levels to how we can intervene. But there's really a lot of work to be done. But we cannot now downplay the need to intervene, as soon as possible, because it's a crisis that we're seeing unfold.
And doctor, then, I mean, look, a teacher was shot right in front of her pupils while she was conducting a lesson by her purported romantic partner. What more can government do in order to enlist some collaborative efforts? You spoke about health as well as police to ensure safety at school premises. But what more can they do to ensure that criminals or those that are planning to come and commit egregious acts within school premises, first of all, are actually caught before they actually go into those classrooms?
There's a need to really start having the justice system, come on board in a great manner, but also just to promote the need to have, values that build the community. I think, coming from where we're coming from, the values for humanity, that basic right to life, because now life has come to a point where it doesn't mean as much as it should. Life, just vanishes so quickly, it's just taken for granted. So we really need to do the work as society to promote the need to seek mental health interventions before it gets to a crisis. But really, there's still a lot that can be done, but unfortunately, as I said, it is a crisis at the moment, and we really need to start really making sure that there's interventions or promotions for people to seek the help that they need for the things that they're struggling with, that they're not seeking help for, and really empower people out there to understand how the mind works, that if I've been through something and I haven't dealt with it, I will project this thing, right? I will bleed on people that did not hurt me. So there's really a need to also promote that the need for people to take care of their mind as much as we're promoting the physical health. And I think this is something that, we're not doing well enough or enough, to destigmatize seeing someone like myself, because the aim is to make sure that your mind is functional so you can be, thrive in whatever it is that you're doing and overcome whatever it is that wounded you.
Absolutely, doctor. The need, I suppose, for people to really deal with, of course, some of those issues that manifest in their older age really needs to be an issue that needs a lot of attention. Doctor, thank you so much, as always, for your input this afternoon. Dr. Keitumetse Tumi Mashego, there, a clinical as well as a sports psychologist, weighing in on some of the solutions that government can actually employ to ensure the safety of learners and children at large in the country and at schools.